Hey everyone, I just got back from the Piccadilly for my signing. Thanks to everyone who came out. It was a great time. The food at the Piccadilly, love it. If you haven't had wings, you haven't had wings until you've been to the Piccadilly. So get on down to Route 206 in Chemung in the Pine Barrens and tell them I sent you. Okay, so today's topic, along with Little Joan. And by the way, I'm continuing to wear my Piney outfit because, I got hat hair. So, I'm a storyteller, so I'd like to tell you a story based on the characters at hand about a civil war in the United States and how it might unfold. A lot of people are talking about it. I think it might unfold a little something like this. The 2020 election isn't going to be won by the Democrats. It's going to be lost by Donald Trump. Trump is beset upon unfortunate events, which is really the only way I think they could stop him at this point. I think he's going to win. Let me say that up front. But in my story, a series of unfortunate events happen. Trump has some medical problems that slows him down. He gets sucked in to a near-war situation with North Korea. Some sailors are taken, a few of them are killed. He ends up bombing North Korea. It ends in some sort of weird stalemate, but at the end of the day, it negates all his gains in North Korea, and basically the media blasts him as a crazy, terrible person who can't run a country. So all this is happening while he's having medical problems and while impeachment is still going on. As predicted, impeaching Trump throughout this process brings out a record turnout, which is the only way to defeat him at the polls. Turns out the record turnout is just there to vote against Trump, which they do. Who was elected president? Elizabeth Warren. You see, Sleepy Joe Biden, down in the polls, eventually just bows out due to medical reasons, which is a real thing, and he throws all his weight behind Warren. At that point, Hillary Clinton, who had also entered the race, who was only polling around 10%, cuts a deal with Warren. She gets to be VP. It's a consolation prize, but it's still a step up from Secretary of State. So Hillary's the VP. The best part is, she doesn't have to debate Trump. She only has to debate that wooden peg Pence, which Pence isn't much of a threat on the debate stage and does what most neocons do and stays inside the box, and Hillary stays inside the box, and together they have one of the most boring debates in history. Trump, suffering from his illnesses, does well against Warren, but at the end of the day, the Democrats bring record turnout, they cheat like hell, and they just squeak a victory. Now, it's just squeaked by. But the instant that it happens, the media starts decrying Trump and his supporters, saying they'll never accept it, they're a bunch of sore losers. Trump is a sore loser. He immediately goes after him, just like classic Trump. While all that's going on, Elizabeth Warren is seizing the reins of power, and she is trying to turn the boat around. The only problem is the Democrats have lost the House, and they didn't have a chance of getting the Senate back, so she's facing a hostile Congress that will never, ever agree with anything she's done. And they are furious at what she did at Trump. Trump supporters, furious. They don't accept the election results. They start protesting. Oh, you think there are protesters against Trump? No, all those people went home, including Antifa. You see, it was just a trend. They were never really interested in politics much at all. I mean, they were just interested in getting rid of evil Trump, and now he's gone. And just like when Obama got elected and the anti-war movement evaporated, so too do Antifa and the anti-Trump protesters. They just friggin' evaporate. No one knows where the hell they go. They look for him, There's a few diehards that are still out there, but mostly the streets are filled with red caps. Furious, angry red caps. And no one is standing up to them because these Antifa kids never wanted to really fight anybody fair anyway. I mean, they celebrate when Trump loses. They burn down half of Portland, but they basically go home after a week and they figure, well, we elected you, Elizabeth. I mean, that's what you're for. Fix everything. Elizabeth can't fix jack because nobody in the Republican-held Congress will let her. They spend the next 2 years beating up on her. And Trump spends the next 2 years on television. Oh, you didn't think the Trump bump was going away? It does not. Trump's still in the news. 2 years after he's not president, he won't shut up. Still tweeting. People still reading it. Newspapers still reporting it. They can't help themselves after all this time. And in fact, they rehabilitate him somewhat because they need him. Now suddenly, there's all these articles like, was Trump really a racist? No, the evidence suggests no. Suddenly, they all become reliable sources and regular people. They basically tell the truth about Trump because now they don't consider him a threat anymore. But Trump is an even bigger threat as an ex-president than he was as a president. Because as a president, he was restrained by certain things he couldn't do or say. Now, as a billionaire, as regular billionaire Trump, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and does. He's not going to run again. He's already decided that. He's not like Hillary Clinton, who will basically run for president until, like, she's in her 90s and can't see. Trump, he wants to go enjoy his life. He's setting up his son and daughter to run for president. Oh, yes. Yes, that's happening. So by 2022, Elizabeth Warren has been getting her clock cleaned. She hasn't passed a single thing, hasn't kept a single promise. It's almost like Trump's running the country and he's not even in office. But guess what? The only people who are flacking for him are the media. And the media has zero credibility. Oh, they pretty much have zero credibility now, but it's even less than zero credibility in 2022. Because by this point, nobody's even watching them. At least before, there was this idea that Trump was going to destroy the country. But after he's gone, they're not watching anything. So these people kowtow to the only ratings grabber they have, Trump. And that just doesn't help Elizabeth Warren at all. She's constantly frustrated. She even tries to start a war. Congress stops her. So what happens in 2022? Well, more Republicans get elected because that's what happens in a midterm. People are so disappointed by Warren. It's not that Democrats switch over to Republicans. They're demoralized. They don't come out and vote. So Republicans take over the House and the Senate with majorities. Now they can impeach her whenever they want because impeachment is a political process. It's not really a legal process. See, if you don't have the votes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You would need people to cross party lines to vote somebody out. And these days, that ain't happening. But now the Republicans, who have been fuming for 2 years and beating up on Elizabeth Warren, now have all the votes they want. But now it's even worse. They can make her look worse. And they do. And they definitely don't want Hillary in the position, so they won't impeach her. So instead, they beat up on her worse for another 2 years. Warren doesn't pass a damn thing. She tries to veto things. She gets overridden by the Congress again and again and again. She gets overridden so many times she's got footprints on her forehead. Meanwhile, you've got Hillary Clinton, who's basically a female Dick Cheney at this point, trying to do what Dick Cheney did. Only she doesn't have the juice anymore. And she has gotten really old too. And in fact, people are sick of her. And they're watching her like a hawk. They weren't watching Cheney like a hawk. After 9/11, they gave Bush and Cheney a lot of leeway. There were a lot of people who were on their side. Not Hillary Clinton. All those Democrats are gone. Trump got rid of most of those appointees. And the guys he put in, oh, they're fighting back. So Hillary can't pull the strings like she used to. Although she tries, it's a disaster for the Democrats. And in 2024, Elizabeth Warren loses in a landslide. Hillary Clinton and her go. And 2024 could be Pence, could be Donald Trump Jr., could be Ivanka Trump. But it ain't going to be a Democrat. That much is for sure. And that is my version of the Civil War.